Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We're on the test server, checking out the new boss, checking out the new dungeon that you are going to need to do if you want to ascend your artifacts and reach this new level of power in the game. Oh man, I am I'm really honestly struggling to know what to say about this one. You're going to see here in the background basically what I've tried to do for this video. Just a quick initial showcase. I've got a nice, pretty budget team here put together to show you some kind of interesting options for champions you might use. Because let me be very upfront about this, very clear. I don't think this dungeon is ready to go live or should go live in the state that it's in. Look, right here we've already got a bug. Look at this minus. That shouldn't happen. What a minus should not be there. Oh my goodness, and some of our champions just got taken out. That's not good. So we might wipe, actually. We'll see. Maybe we can pull it back. I think we might pull it back. Let's see. Can we make it through or not? So there's lots of bugs with this dungeon, guys. And even more than that, this boss is ridiculously difficult. So that might not be a problem. You might need to, you know, it almost definitely is obviously designed so that you will be ascending your artifacts, etc. But I will be honest, I do have quite a lot of concerns as to, yeah, how this is going to work or if it's going to work at all. First of all, let's talk about this. So sleep, right? In order to put any debuffs on the boss, he needs to be asleep. So you need to bring in a sleep champion. That's really awkward. There's not a lot of sleep champions in the game. And I also think it's really difficult to have it line up so that your sleep, you can see he wakes up as well. We'll talk about that too. It's really difficult to have it line up such that your sleep champion is going to get their sleep out when your debuffs are ready to go. So you can actually stack them up and you won't fire your debuffs into the boss when he's not asleep. They do nothing. Then he goes asleep, you don't have them ready to go, and blah, blah, blah. We also have this sleep counter. Now, this is different based on the different difficulty levels, so the different stages that you are on, okay? So for me right now, because we're on stage 15 for the showcase here, it's a 7-stage counter. If you hit the boss 7 times, he will wake up. As you see, it's got some bugs in it. We got to -1. I've actually got it down as far as -3 so far. That's my record from testing. Actually, I might have a screenshot I can show you. Hang on, let me get the screenshot. Let me do that. Hey, there we go. Look at that. There we go. -3. I was testing out some different variations of teams. -3, and he's still asleep. It's my turn. I haven't taken a go. He's just frozen at -3. Just because, you know, it's completely busted. This bot is so dumb, man. It's so dumb. So that's what's going on there. Again, makes it awkward. That goes all the way down to 5 hits. You can hit him 5 times and he's going to wake up on the highest difficulties, right? We're not on those highest difficulties. It's really hard. So that's something to watch out for. Right there, that's like his ultimate move. He's not supposed to do this if stuff works out. Basically, every time you sleep the boss, it's going to increase the cooldown of this move. So by getting out good sleeps, you can keep him under control and stuff is going to be fine. Oh, there we go. We've got him to -1 again. He's just decided he doesn't want to wake up. That's nice. He's going to wake up now, which is unfortunate. Makes it very difficult to speed tune this boss as well because, yeah, I just don't know how you're quite going to do it. How do you compensate for the resists and stuff? I don't know. Unless you got Sifi, who has the irresistible A1, I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do. We're really relying on getting our Hellhound up here. Hellhound, he only has an A1. He's a common champion, but he puts out sleeps every time he crits on his A1. So he is a really consistent source of sleep for us, so long as he's not dead. Unfortunately, he's a common, so it's really hard to actually keep him alive. There we go. He is back up and just on time to prevent this doomsday move from hitting us again. He goes in, he's landed the sleep, and look at this, you'll see it, there it goes, ticked up, so it increases the cooldown. So you can stop the boss from, he will always do this pretty much at the start, because he starts with it off cooldown. If you put him asleep, it increases it by 1 turn, but then he becomes immune to being slept for a turn after that. So he will always fire this off at least once in the fight, unfortunately. And yeah, because of the sleep counter, you can't just crowd control, like turn meter control, keep that down and stop him from ever getting a turn. It doesn't work. This is actually perfect if you get a counter attack and you sleep him right at the start of his turn, and then you're able to go in with all your champions and get your debuffs up, then you're very, very happy. The reason we've got these debuffs going up is the more debuffs that are out there, it reduces his damage reduction. He has a ton of damage reduction, and every debuff you put on him is going to make that damage reduction weaker. So you'll actually be able to hurt him. War Master and Phantom Touch, we don't know if they're bugged. We don't know if it's intended, but they count as extra hits towards waking the boss up. So you can't really bring in War Master. Like, let's say I go in with a double hitter champion and they proc War Master. That's 3 pips with one champion, one attack. That's 3 pips off of the sleep counter. If they proc Phantom Touch, if they proc a double hit of Phantom Touch, if they're fully ascended, they could wake him up in just one go. They could do it. Giant Slayer, worse again. Champions with multi-hit attacks, worse again. Becomes very awkward. Again, we got a counter attack. That's good. So that's definitely going to help us. But yeah, there's a lot of issues here. Another reason to have these debuffs on him, right, is that he will cleanse himself every 3 turns. He cleanses everything off, and then he's going to do damage, but he's going to be weaker at doing damage the more he has to cleanse. So it's like his energy is used up. He cleansed himself a ton. He's not going to hit you that hard is kind of a basic enough way to look at it. So right here, he only has 2 debuffs, actually. That's not great. One nice thing is we do have the heal reduction for Morrigan, a recent fusion, and that's actually going to stop him healing. He actually will heal himself with this move too, which is a real pain in the butt, let me tell you. It's really, really annoying. It really sucks. But there you go. So he's cleansed himself. We need to sleep him to push this move back. Here we go. You can see with this team as well, the boss with his A1 actually puts out decreased accuracy. This is a massive problem because if you get decreased accuracy on your sleep champion and they miss a sleep, he starts coming in with this feasting swarm and he can just wipe you out. It's exceptionally, exceptionally bad. So what the heck do you do? I actually brought in increased accuracy with Claude, which means that even if we get decreased accuracy on this champion, we're going to be okay. Now, of course, if you've got Sifi, I do have Elva on my main account, but not on the test server, unfortunately. Is he able to be slept? He is. Push this back. Okay, so I think so long as we land the sleep now every second turn, he's not going to get this move off. But I just don't have a way to keep this decrease accuracy off, so it becomes really awkward. You start to need to bring a lot in your team. Consistent sources of sleep. You're going to need healing to actually keep your champions alive. Unfortunately, for a lot of these healers, you can see they're not able to top themselves up. You can restore this decreased max HP whenever you heal and the boss is asleep, which again makes the sleep really important. A problem with a lot of healers is that their healing is based off of max HP. They will, for example, Rector Drath, every time you take a turn under Perfect Fail, she heals you based off of your max HP. Well, if your max HP like this has been drastically reduced, the heal is super small and she can never actually top your health back up. There's also bugs with this. Sometimes your champion will get stuck on 1 HP and be invincible, which is a really fun one. So you can maybe, if you get lucky and we can figure out how to make that happen consistently, you could cheese the boss and beat him that way. Here we go. Looks like it's looking pretty all right. He's going to heal himself, though, I think, if he gets a turn here, because we don't have heal reduction on, unless Morrigan gets a turn. No, he actually died before that. There we go. So 8 minutes, and we got it down. But absolutely, what a slog, right? That was absolutely a slog. And as you can see going through, this team could easily wipe. Now, I've tried to build a fairly budget team. We've got a common in to bring us sleeps. Obviously, if that's a Sifi, you're going to have a much easier time, okay? But I brought in a common. Let me actually show you. So you can see a quick sort of glance right here. Yeah, that's fine. Store energy. So what have we done with this team? We've got Morrigan. Gives us a speed aura. Again, really fun thing about her, she's giving us turn meter and speed, helping us go. She actually places decreased accuracy on the boss with her A2. She can put a decreased speed with her A1. And then with her passive, she puts out heal reduction. So she stops him healing and he cannot cleanse this debuff off, which I think is cool. And she just brings a couple of debuffs. So I thought as a very recent fusion, she's a really nifty budget option to bring in. Hellhound, right? The common goes in with a sleep whenever he crits. So this is fantastic. Can't do it every turn because the boss is immune to sleep the turn after he's woken up, right? So that's annoying, but you can get the sleep out pretty consistently. We've got Rector Drath. She's in with the revive and the heals. Again, you can see she cannot actually recover all of your max HP that gets destroyed when the boss hits you. And that's a Rector Drath with a 3-star awakening whatever, I can't remember what it's called, but this one fixes destroyed HP as well. I feel like it might be a little bit bugged, that stuff. I think there's some bugs going on there too. I feel like she should be better, but I'm not 100% sure if it's a bug or not. We've got Claude coming in, who gives us increased accuracy, increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. Great move. He gives us a shield, which helps the team stay alive. Then he can actually put decreased crit rate with his A1. Not very much, but it's something. And he does bring a little bit of healing as well to help, again, restore some of that destroyed max HP. Though, again, you can see it's also based healing off max HP. So if your HP gets decreased too much, you can't actually heal it back. Annoying. And then I thought a really fun champion to show you. This is Varl the Destroyer, a champion that doesn't get much love at all. But what Varl does, he is a Doom Tower hard champion. You get him from the secret rooms there. So it will take you a while to get him. In fact, probably quite a long time. But you will definitely get him. Eventually, you will get him. And the cool thing about him is this passive, I think. Increases his attack by 10% every time he uses an active skill. Up to 100% bonus attack. So I think what Varl does in these long fights, he gives you a win condition. He's just going to hit really hard when he's stacked up. In this team comp, we don't have decreased defense. We don't have increased attack either. So that sort of mitigated his damage, but he was able to do it. And what he does is this big hitting champion, he comes in with a decreased attack and weakened debuff, which is really useful. His A3 just hits really hard. It also does decrease the target's max HP, which might help you eventually against the boss if you're going to do like a 2-hour run. I don't know. It seems kind of useless. It hits hard. And then his A1 actually heals him by a chunk of the damage inflicted. So that actually gets him past the whole decrease max HP thing. His max HP is nearly always full because whenever he does his A1, he's just going to restore it. So you can maybe do something similar with other champions. Again, the big issue is that normally you might think, oh, I can use War Master with Leech and we're good. But the problem is, again, War Master, it knocks down that sleep counter, at least right now in the test server. So it's really awkward to actually run War Master on your champions. Plus, the stat requirements are actually really high for this boss from what I can see. And like I said, guys, we are only on stage 15. That's only stage 15 out of 25. Oh my goodness. It's going to go all the way up. And the final stage, by the way, is Force. So I do think Varl is a decent champ, but I've no idea how to get up to stage 25, to be honest with you. Without a CFI, I'm not sure. I'm really interested to see what other content creators have done. I found this boss to be quite buggy, extremely punishing, and not very fun. I just kind of look at this boss and I go, how do I ensure that I can sleep him and have my debuffs ready to go at the same time? It's really awkward. And how can I actually kill him quickly without this taking 10 years? What can I do? Like, so you can see we do stack up a few debuffs and that's great, you know, but man, there's a lot of awkward stuff going on here. Let me tell you, there's a lot of awkward stuff going on. So I think this is clearly designed, guys, that it's going to be a slow grind. You're going to go through the earlier stages. Look, I think stage 10 is actually going to be quite easy. We can hit up stage 10 here with the same team. Same affinity as the final stage. But stage 10 here should be significantly easier in terms of the stats required, etc. And this is the stage you can even start earning the medium pots. So I think that's sort of part of the idea here, is that you can go in, you can farm the lower stages of this dungeon, ascend your gear so that you have the stats to take on the later stages. But even so, I don't know how you're really going to do it. It seems so rough right now, to be honest. Like, it's really cool we're able to bring this common guy in, but the problem, as you'll see very, very clearly, like you can see here, his massive attack did almost nothing. So you've got a lot more options on this lower stage. So you'll be able to awaken your gear up to a medium level fairly easily. But you know, those final few bits are going to be hard, but man, it's rough. I just feel like I don't mind that part. I think that part's cool. I'm fine with this being a longer term grind to get this stuff. That actually doesn't bother me. My main concern is, how does an average player ever get to this? How do you do it? How do you do it? I just don't see it. So like, obviously some champions that stand out, Sifi, exceptional with all these buffs. She's going to be healing on the passive a lot. And then she has the A1 that sleeps the target, and they cannot resist it. They can't resist it. So she is very consistently going to be pumping out the sleeps and help you get through this boss just by herself. She brings you everything that you need. She's going to be nuts. But if you don't have Zifi, I don't. You're going to be in a much tougher spot. I might actually do other videos. Knocked suddenly makes sense to me. HP in dungeons, aura. He does have a sleep with poisons on his A2. Quite useful. But the big thing about him, believe it or not, because I've tried him, he actually puts out ally protection, which helps you survive big hits, and a lot of healing on his passive, on his A3, and then his passive actually pumps out a lot of healing with those poison takes that he puts up. And whenever you're attacked under ally protection, he can sleep the attacker. So this passive is actually amazing for this boss, right? The boss smacks you, he goes to sleep right at the start of his turn, and then you got a whole turn to ladle out your debuffs, which is great. He's at decreased accuracy there. He's got poisons on the A2, sleep there as well if you don't land the sleep. So knocked is fantastic, but I feel like we're sort of in that position that it's like you've either, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe there's other ways to do it. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm very curious, but I just feel like it's really tough right now. And I feel like there's not a lot of champions in there that you can actually use to get through this. So let me show you how I built my champions anyway, so you can see how this team worked. So the concept here, we've Hellhound. He's a common with that sleep. The problem with him is that, well, number one, his base stats are shockingly bad. And number two, you can't ascend him. You can't give him accessories. So he's hella squishy. Look how squishy this champ is. But I built him really fast and with really good accuracy so we could keep landing the sleep. For the lower stages, like I was doing there, I think you could get away with less accuracy. I needed a lot, and I needed increased accuracy because I couldn't stop decreased accuracy going on him. On the live servers, I've got Elva. I'll use Elva instead of Rector. So Elva puts out block debuffs and cleanses, so I think it'll be fine there, and that opens up different strategies. But I mean, if you don't have Elva or Sifi or Duchess or something like that, it's going to be pretty rough. Claude, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Again, he's not built perfectly for this at all. I use Claude in Iron Twins as well, because increased accuracy on a 3-turn cooldown. It's fantastic. Also brings a shield to try keep you alive, decrease crit rate, and a bit of healing. He is built just fast. He's fast, and that's about it. For this boss, I'd be building him with more accuracy, I think, so we could actually put out the decreased crit rate more. And you could even consider, if you're not using him anywhere else, I use him in Arena as well. You could consider doing stuff like putting him in, I don't know, maybe a poison set or something like that. Could be kind of cool to start putting out some poisons to build up that debuff bar a bit more. Rector Drath is in Reflex, and she is just really there to heal us. Pretty simple, straightforward. So she's in Reflex, reasonably tanky, very quick, and that's about it. Then we have Morrigan coming in with lots of speed gear and some accuracy. Actually quite tanky as well, believe it or not. Oh, I need to show you their masteries. Here we go. So accuracy on him, accuracy here, resistance here on her. We've got accuracy here, and then Varl is coming in with Helm Smasher because I didn't want to run War Master. Probably could have actually. We weren't really waking the boss up, so maybe we could have risked the War Master. It would have worked well. Actually put him in Instinct for a bit of fun and Perception, so he could land his debuffs. He has good crit damage. His attack's a bit low. He's very fast, but super squishy. But yeah, he's just quite cool because he heals himself. So yeah, there you go. And Brimstone is super good against this boss too if it lands, but it's just awkward to land it. So it can't be removed, blocked, resisted, or transferred, but it will be blocked by this boss because reasons, you know. So you can only place it if he's asleep, which makes it awkward. But I definitely think having champions in there with Brimstone is really going to help. So yeah, I think Varl's cool, but you could bring in other champions. The decreased attack does really help. And yeah, but you could bring in another damage dealer. He's not too important, but I just thought I really wanted to showcase his skill kit here because I think he's got a really good toolkit for this boss, and nobody really likes Varl too much. I know Deadwood likes him. But yeah, there you go. So there you go. That was the team. I thought it was an interesting sort of budget team. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think after you try this boss yourself, especially when you get to these higher stages. I have a lot of concerns. I'm going to be honest. I feel like this boss is very frustrating. I feel like it's exceptionally difficult is my initial impression. And I feel like it's really hard to come up with answers and to actually tune something. I thought I was chatting briefly to YST, and I think he made a very pertinent point, which sort of sums up my point, which is this. This is just a regular dungeon. this is not a clan boss, right? This isn't a clan boss. This is something that we're supposed to be farming the hell out of. You know, it's not like you beat Bommel once every month. It's not like the clan boss you need to do it every day, or Hydra once a week. This is a farming dungeon, and it just seems like brutally punishing is my impression. So we'll see. I'm hoping for some stuff to change. I'm certainly looking to see what Plarium is going to say about the bugs and stuff like that, whether they're bugs, whether it's intended. We'll see. But guys, thank you for watching. Thought I'd give you a quick preview. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.